My goodness, a little bit of 10 years after, man, I tell you. Far out. Hello, everybody. It is Friday. How are you all doing? I hope you where you are wanting to be. Nothing missing, nothing broken. Speak in favor over us all. It's a shield and a high tower, a buckler. I like that word, a buckler. Knew that very well. Actually, there's a portion of that actually comes directly from the book of Psalms. Yeah, I believe it's the 93rd Psalm. So anyway, how is everybody doing? Hello, everyone in the chat room, moderators, and all other soul tribers. I hope you're ready for a good trip. It's going to be fun. Hey, Gilbert, Joyce, Rick, Grace, how you doing? Deborah Sloan, much love to you, darling. Like I said, I saw Gilbert in there, and who else am I with? Well, I'll look over here occasionally and say hey. But thank you. Thank you for being a part of this. This channel is called The Journey. And thanks to all of y'all, my journey has been greatly enhanced. And I am truly a man of favor to be around such beautiful souls like all of you. So thank you. Hey, Brandon. How are you, brother? Lady Ellie, good to see you, Brian. Loretta, good to see you as well. Hey, Lauren, good to see you. Lost in Space, good to see you. Robert Cantu, good to see you, brother. Michelle, hello. Mark, and now it's starting to spin. John Price, just a thought. Paul Joe, yeah, and I think Gogo's there from Croatia as well. Claudette, good to see you. So much love to all of you. Thank you. Y'all have no idea. What gifts of energy that y'all have sent to me. Now, there have been some bombs in there, but hey, just throw those to the side. We got that shield, that buckler, right? So anyway, Judy, good to see you as well. Hello, Jackie. Nothing missing, nothing broken. I'm probably sure Gaia's in here. And Doug, what's up? Well, thank you, sir. I put new shocks on the bus. Yeah, you know. It's like the church lady saying, thank you for that link, by the way. Uh, you know, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, and your heart really should, you get the idea. All right. So that's the sing along for the day, and we will move on because after listening to 10 years after, I mean, wow, that is such a amazing. Let's see if everything is looking good over here. I'm checking the stream and let's see if we get it over here. We do, and it's pretty far out. So everything is running just as it is supposed to be. Yeah. Lynn and I marvel at how much favor that we have on our lives. I speak it every day, multiple times, and um, it's the laws of nature. One seed produces 100-fold, 1,000-fold. If those 1,000-fold are yet planted again, I mean, the numbers get to be astronomical. You know, kind of like Bitcoin, isn't it, Brandon? Just saying, hey, Scott, good to see you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very kindly. Um, so all is good on the bus. Like I said, I put new shocks on it. You know, there are those people who are deathly afraid of this kind of knowledge. And I dig it. I was there myself 20, no, actually, I guess 25, 30 years ago. I was right there. Hell no, I would have never read anything like this. My mind would have been shattered. You know, I was so deep into the God spell, you know, I would the polarities were so extreme, you repel that. And of course, it won't manifest into your life until the student is ready. And I dig it. Some people find this, you know, devil stuff. Hey, listen, I got a little FYI for you, so I wrote this down. If you say that Satan, the devil, the Lucifer, is the cause of all man's woes, then what you're saying is that it is your enemy. Well, you don't have to be an Einstein to figure out if you have an enemy, you would probably want to know everything about your enemy. Structure, thought, patterns, right? Right, right. When I was out on the investor circuit, I knew who my competition was. There's only so much money, in the group. And the percentage of deals done are like 1-2%. So you go into it and you know who your competition is, you know who your enemy is. You know their product, you know their strategy, because you're competing for those same investor dollars. So anyway, so my point is to an individual who wrote and commented on the video yesterday, listen, this is what knowledge is about. If the myth is true, and we indeed, Eve ate of the tree, so much implications on that. It tells you why the divine feminine is so hated by this current construct, where the masculinity, the patriarchal, only masculine comes through. It's a problem with all metaphysics and New Age, because all of those things are really nothing more than modern day mystic Christianism. That's all they are. Very few original things that I think are really out there, but nevertheless, there is foundation. And the sad part about it is, and we'll continue to study much of the Hindu culture, one of the oldest cultures around. And they have, I believe, the true story about the gods. They speak very clearly of a time when there were Brahmas in the sky, these magnificent craft, 3 different kinds. And by the way, shout out to Mr. MBB33. Check out his video yesterday. At the end of it, I think it's like the 25-minute mark, probably some of the most incredible video of a flying saucer that you'll ever see. Anyway, so my point is that knowledge has been, well, it is said that the current God that the world, particularly Western world, let me just phrase that, has definitely feared this what I would call Middle Asia, the Asian knowledge. In fact, if you read your Bible, you will find out that the Holy Spirit restrained the Apostle Paul and the other disciples from going into India. The one that did was boiled alive, and his skin supposedly was literally peeled off while he was still alive. Well, it's all very strange, isn't it? So, getting back to the whole point, I was right there. I would have never have read this, but now I am so thankful I have. And apparently through one person who sent the email, thank you, that we are doing a wonderful honor to these spirit beings just by recognizing them. You think about it. If you love someone, you have admiration for someone, it's nice to recognize them because it validates their existence, your existence. It's cool. And so when an immortal who has become mortal, just simply out of simple respect, acknowledges them, they appreciate that. Even the badasses. And we're going to pick up on this next week. We're going to finish it. I mean, There's 72 names. I was thinking of the 44 um, angel things with, you'll see it. But anyway, so thank you. And if you don't dig it, that's all right. Don't get your panties in a wad. Just relax. It's okay. Your belief is not a threat to my opinion. I can accept it. So if I can accept you, then accept me. Pretty simple. You know, feeling the love. Still love 10 years after. I tell you what. Hey, Bonnie, what's up, girl? Paul, Joe, good to see you. So yeah, so there we go. All right, let's get into this. Because this is some cool knowledge. It really is. No matter where it came from. I have no way to validate if any of this is true. People always get so wrapped up and say, well, how can you deny that there was ever a Jesus? Because there's no evidence of it. Other than your Bible, there's no evidence of it. What I do know, though, about the first century as I study it, because the first century was very much Hellenized. And we can thank Alexander the Great for that because he set the whole thing into motion. Alexander's thing is that, hey, listen, keep your religion, keep your beliefs, keep your books. That's all cool. We're just going to bring you into the family. And hey, there's others who are saying they're gods and God, and, so we accept all. So, don't worry about your American Express card. You're all welcome here. And that was the Hellenizing of Western culture. And so the first century, there were a lot of hippies around. There was a revolution. We've had it here. I experienced it with the Vietnam War. It's like, war sucks. And, you had those enlightened individuals. The whole Judea was in the center of the Silk Road and the Roman road that led in from there. So it was a multicultural, very cosmopolitan place. Modern, the Jerusalem back then, it had quadrants, sections of the city. You had the Greeks over here, you had the Jews over here, you got the Italians over here. You know what I'm saying? It was all, pretty cool. And there were a lot of peace-loving individuals. They didn't dig military oppression and occupation any more than we would. So get over yourself. It's all right. Relax. If you believe that there was such a individual, far out, but don't become so bigoted and a segregationist. Learn to accept other people's belief. Here's a little clue. The ethereal realm is not dominated by one belief. Okay? All right. We're all good. You got to, hey, Kitty, what's up? Good to see you. Danny, hello. So we're talking today, and I think you're going to be much impressed. Excuse me, I need to go over here first. We're talking about our good friend, and here I am again. I really know where I'm going. The GPS went out for a second on autopilot, right? This is our good friend Frater. If you haven't been to his Etsy site, it's linked below. Just this individual is most unique and special amongst other people. And this is the book we're going to be reading today. But I just wanted to acknowledge and say thank you, Frater Nathan Setnakh. You are a jewel among so much that is so wrong in this world. It's sometimes sad, but thank you, my friend. So let me get back over here. Hey, dude. I see Jen's over there. So, hey, Chris, what's up? So let's get into his book. Now, you're going to love this. So, as we begin to move, the book is called 20.56 Contact the Call. The first draft published to the world, and Nathan has given me permission to read this, so thank you again, Nathan. But again, if you feel moved by the Spirit, go over there and drop a few shekels in his hand. Buy the book. It's digital download, and it's $1.60, I think. What a deal. That's a good deal. So anyway, the first published draft to the world was on the spring equinox, March 20th, 2020. The second draft on the winter solstice, the great Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, December 21st, 2020. We all know this. When heaven and earth meet, indeed, words can be erased, books burned. The symbol is the universal language of the transcendental magic. We begin. I am an ancient being trapped in a human body, in a world that is not mine. I feel strange in it. Perhaps you do too. And perhaps every day seems like another, and you long for a truly free world. Boy, today, isn't that the truth? After all we have experienced, pretty much everything a human being can, some of us more maybe, and some more than once, a prosaic monotony monotony of life. Yeah, indeed. The melancholy inevitability of death, exhausting questions, tightening circles around the mind, numbing routine punctuated by emotion, extreme screaming, pleasure, and self-destruction. Wow. Ain't that the freaking truth? However, in my case, instead of feeling worn down by it all, instead of wanting to give up and get the hell out, an abundant inner fire filled me and cleansed me in an act of total transfiguration. From that moment on, I became truly conscious, experiencing and discovering my ancient strength. Since then, I have never been the same person again. In fact, you might say I ceased to be human at all. Consciousness is the key. It defines us, and no one can take it away from us. Once the flame has been ignited by the spark of the Gnosis, it will never go out. Once the heart's rose blooms, it will never wither. The day I received the first message, June 11th, 2017, shored up my conviction that I have charted my true course, that dozens of years spent discovering my immortality during this fleetingly precious earthly life was time used wisely. Because if you gather experience, approach the subject standing on top of a lonely mountain with the whole world stretched out before you, it becomes clear that the means of understanding and understanding itself cease to have any limits. You are free. The prison you built for yourself with the bricks of ingrained expectation and inattention no longer exist, simply because you will never feel like a prisoner again. Look at that. So cool, isn't it? It's the woodcut illustration of Saturn in the old father time, 1608. Consciousness is the key to all doors, a remedy for all doubts. It is a portal to be the dimension you've been and are and will be in. Consciousness is the you that destroys and creates your selfhood. Consciousness is the life that will someday end, and it is death, which gives rise to a new beginning. It is emptiness from which something emerges, and fullness which collapses, creating one great nothing. Consciousness is ubiquitous, held in common, yet separate for each of us at the same time. Polarity characterizes this beautiful cosmic turnstile of existence and events. Gnosis, a primordial memory, an ancient knowledge, is a map that leads us to pass through the intricate paths of life's labyrinth. It is a fuse that permits us to consciously enter the state of death, a pole that allows us to balance on the brink of a new world. With this map in my hands for several decades now, I have been the guest of countless spiritual and magical systems and walked many paths to the left and right hand both. I have drawn hundreds of symbols and maintained partnerships with numerous diverse energies. I have never sold my soul to the world because I never loved it enough to do so. Rather, I have observed. I have healed my amnesia and have slowly remembered who I am, who I was, who we are. I have remembered the fact that we once said out loud, not because of your injustice, not for the human race's enslavement, but because we loved you once and weep that we might love you still, because we have given you a knowledge that no one will ever be able to take away from you, a light for those who walk in darkness. For this, we have been thrown into this material trap, this mawing pit. For this, we have fallen, lost our wings. For this, our memory has been taken away from us, and suffering is, has been, and will be our earthly lot, the bleak, all and ever-encompassing essence of our existence. For years, we were consumed by fire. It tempted our thoughts as if they were from steel, and from a petrified heart melted a tiny shard of the shimmering consciousness. This is the secret of the alchemist's gold. Look deep inside yourself, and you will discover the philosopher's stone. And as your consciousness rouses, you will remember you are already on the road that leads to immortality. And when you remember, you will break the shackles, the mind gears will grind as they begin to turn, and you will start a cosmic machine that has always been governed by the principle that the like attracts the like. This is Vitrol, 1614. You tell me these folks had knowledge, man. They knew some stuff. This is what happened to me. And I have finally decided that it is my mission to inform those of a like mind about what happened, and to encourage them to share their experiences and come together as a community, like this community. This is my secret, which for a time I felt I had to keep to myself. Whoever has eyes, let them see. Be aware of the eternal entanglement, or follow your path in the here and now. The choice is yours. Lum equum interestum, Frater Nathan Setnakh. Technical issues. Dear reader, keep in mind that when you see a phenomenon in the sky, you don't always have the tools at hand to record the image. From the moment of initial observation until just before the moment of taking a picture with the camera, the image was clear. By the time I took the photograph, it was somewhat less clear. So I decided to a graphic program and subjected the picture to just two treatments: image contrasting and desaturation, i.e., converting a color into a grayscale, which are aimed at presenting something closer to what I saw originally. June 11th, 2017, the first message, 20.56. It was mid 2017 when I decided to recreate the forgotten seals of the 72 angels of the Shem HaForosh, contained in the manuscript entitled Arsenal 2495 manuscript, attributed to Blas de Vernier. Hope I didn't butcher that too bad, who was a French diplomat, alchemist, and cryptographer. The manuscript contains names, sigils assigned to particular angels, their properties, fields of action, corresponding quotations from the Bible, and dates of activity. It was while I was beginning this work that I received the first message. In 2018, I returned to this material, working on a collection of 72 coins depicting these angelic sigils. This resulted in more messages appearing in the sky, including a message from the angel Urathel, the light bringer. Urathel, there we go. Boy, do I know these. Don't we all? I think this is from, I believe, the Sumerians. That's the tree of life. All right. A hand will stretch out towards an outstretched hand. A hand will open for an open hand. Sumerian proverb. Okay, that's Pythagoras. Cool guy. First philosopher. All things are numbers. Pythagoras. All right, so this is the picture. Look at it. Now, I've read this and I've looked at these pictures, so my eye is drawn towards things, and it looks pretty benign, right? This was taken at 10:27 p.m. in Poland on November 6, 2017. All right, so let's get the message. Now, this is where he's put it into grayscale, the desaturation. Are you seeing anything? I'll let everyone, now if you're listening, sorry, but those of you who are watching, you see anything? All right, let's see the message. Here is the message. We have the stork. We have I think that's the Egyptian symbol. We'll see. Here's 25:6. Here's the S. There's an R. Number 58:6. The hand shows the north direction. So he's looking towards the north on this. Oh, and Saturn. All right. So you can now begin to see exactly what he's talking about. Fascinating, isn't it? And I'll try to get this blown up a little bit more for everybody to get a handle on. There we go. So there it is. All right, so what is being spoken about? The first message is encoded, and for the last 3 years, I have been working hard to code and analyze it. It is multidimensionality is wonderful, and discovering each successive level opens new chambers of mind, which is in an informative trance that connects with the offspring of the absolute. Maybe you don't see what I see. Don't force it. Just come back when you're ready. If and when, or when we do see alike, you will notice that the message is a sequence of alphanumeric and graphic characters. Two, has a high level of informational entropy, average amount of information per message, contains encoded, clearly structured information, as you can separate parts and categories from the whole, is characterized by ambiguity. Decoding it requires the recipient to conceptualize and apply mental structures, the law of linguistic relativism. The language used influences more or less the way of thinking, and energetic structures, the Hermetic law, the like attracts the like, and as above, so below. Correct reading of the message is possible only thanks to gnosis, a pre-memory. The notion of existing outside time as we know it, if you continue reading, you will see more messages and you will understand that the universal consciousness, which communicates at different temporal intervals, understands time differently. What takes a long time for us, for it can be but for a moment. Father Time. Ain't that the truth? Um, Elements of the message. One, the image. The way a person or thing is perceived and presented. Two, the planet Saturn. And three, the Ebis, the Nadu, ostrich, the Rhea. Sign, a shape to which a certain meaning is attributed. Two, the astrological symbol of the planet Saturn. And there they are. I know some of you are like, yeah, I can see it now. Yeah, you can. And I don't believe that's the moon either. I think he showed us the moon. It's, I just got to say, this is far. Reminds me of the Moody Blues song. Symbol, a sign, person, object, etc., which signifies something, or a person or animal embodying something. A somatic stylistic device that has one literal meaning and a different number of hidden meanings. A separate category of communication unit. The ibis is right here. 3.11, the symbol of Thoth, god of knowledge. You getting it? Yeah, it's like, yeah. I love mental gymnastics. I mean, it's just fucking far out. So the two depictions of the Egyptian deity Thoth was the head of an ibis. The god on the lower wears a crescent moon and feather on his head. The god on the right carries a pen and long palm branch. All right, 3.12, Egyptian symbol of one part of the soul, the Ankh, the spiritual light. So in the Egyptian glyphs, the Ankh and the Ankh. Rhea, the Nadu ostrich, the flightless bird. Then Rhea, the Saturn's moons. 3.3.2, daughter of Uranus, and Gaia, mother of Zeus, sister and wife of Cronus. Magna Mater. I love this. I often think when these you see these depictions of the gods, makes you think they look a lot like us, don't they? Rhea presenting Cronus with the stone wrapped in cloth. That's what that's about. All right. 4, digit number. In future publication, each noun, number, and other symbols will be decoded and analyzed in detail in terms of gematria and numerology, as well as classical mathematics. So the sequence of numbers 20.56. And now when you begin to focus in, you can see it. Boy, particularly the 6 and the 0. Well, no, I see it all. It's like, that ain't no problem. You know? Yeah. But the average person going out there and having a cigarette or whatever would have looked up there and said, yeah, partly cloudy. 5, 6, 13, 58. And if you look in the 2, you can see them. Okay. 4.2, the crowned 6 skull. Boy, you can really, yeah. This is a fragment of an image of the skull crowned with snakes and flowers, the Duchess of Malfi. Delightful. Outline, the general and not very clear-cut shape of a figure, object, or a line marking the shape. Letter, the graphic sign of the sound appropriated for alphabetical writing. Letters of the Latin alphabet, S and R. And when you see this, you're going, uh-huh. I'll tell you, we are so favored to have an individual such as Nathan amongst us. And I won't be getting all of this, so, if you really dig it, go over there and show them your appreciation. All right. Hand pointing northeast direction with forefinger. You can see that one. Wow. Still, the honk over here. Just the examples of hand depiction in occult emblems. Okay. Moving on along. So the anagrammatical, alchemical figure representing vitriol were taken to stand for Vistia Interia Tierras, Rectifindo Intervenes Occultism and Lapidem, visit the interior parts of the earth. By recitification, you will find the hidden stone. This is from Basile's writings. Yeah. It's like, yeah. This is the 4th pinnacle of the moon from the Key of Solomon. Revelation, part 1. That's death on a pale horse. I wonder if that horse craps. And who cleans it up? I mean, the people, I guess, down on the ground. Can you imagine you're walking along and all of a sudden this big old bunch of horse crap falls on you from the pale horse? I don't know if it'd be pale itself, but anyway, I digress. What is gematria? If you speak to someone who studies numerology, they will tell you that there is an uncanny relationship between numbers and words. Don't we know it? They'll tell you that letters and words all have a numerical value and weight that is implicit of deeper meanings, connecting other words of similar weight. In fact, this concept has been given merit and studied in relation to biblical texts for hundreds of years. Kabbalist Jewish scholars call this study gematria and believe that there is a hidden code in the Torah that contains clues to current and future events. The concept of gematria, numerology, stems from the idea that mathematics is the universal language of nature, and within it may be the keys to explaining our universe or evidence of a supernatural power. Marty Leeds has taken this concept of the Kabbalistic gematria and applied it to the English language, believing that he has found a cipher in our alphabet to prove his theory. In Hebrew, every letter is given a numerical value, and those values can be added up to achieve the numerical value of a word. While some might think that this is a system of drawing arbitrary connections, practitioners of gematria believe there to be an intentional context to the sounds of the vowels and consonants that we use in language with an interconnected mathematical meaning. And so this is from Gaia.com. And here is the 22 Hebrews letters of their alphabet with the corresponding numbers. Reversed gematria, the method used to decode 20.56 message. And he gets really into this. I can't blow this up without it becoming, let's see. So you can see each one has been decoded out, defined. Try to get there. So let me bring this down a little bit. Thank you. There we go. All right. So the palm of a hand reveals the 20.56 with the 65813 with the hand pointing. The descendants of the winged ones will gather again, and the teacher will rise with a sword stronger than before. Wow. This is only one word in the Bible with a gematria value of 2056, which appears in Mark 14:40. How interesting. When he came back, he again found them sleeping because their eyes were heavy. They did not know what to say to him. So according to John's revelation, the final battle between good and evil will be waged at Armageddon. The word Armageddon, there's the Greek, appears only once in the Bible. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon, Revelation 16:16. The 16 times 16 magic square has a consistent of 2056. Celestial designates. First hook, Scorpius, the Gnostic spark, is in the heart of the Scorpius constellation, Antares. From the Sumerian language. On, the outside world, Ta, whence someone came, Rus, Sag, head, warden, commander. In astrology, Antares takes its cue from Mars and so indicates war, violence, or more positively, self-assertion and self-confidence. One of the four royal stars in ancient Chaldea and one of the guardians of the heavens, the skies, Aldebaran, Regulus, Antares, East, and Fomalhaut. Antares demands we take a stand for our truth against the established conditions of our personal lives and against the established order or authority directing our lives when those conditions and that authority are no longer in our best interest nor supporting or evolutionary freedom. Mythology from Star Tales by Ian Ridapath. Directly opposite Antares is the sidereal center of Taurus, is Aldebaran, the eye of the bull. Aldebaran, Antares' axis, is indicative of political systems, their people, and their opposing politics. Aldebaran holds then radiates vision for ideal physical logistics for authorities to put in place so as to aid the people of the earth through evolutionary process and transition. Antars ensures that the current and accepted approaches and visions do not become static or antiquated. Antars ensures growth, evolution, and change. If the scorpion meets those bullheaded and stuck in their adequated modality of life, the scorpion sting is not far off. Hence its classical association with rebellious and destructive forces. Antar keeps the vision of the Aldebaran up to date by challenging authoritarian powers. When they are rebellious or terrorizing forces assaulting the established order, this reflects the need to realize that the established order is no longer supporting the ways truly nourishing to the needs of the people and requires some type of reform. Reform that is denied may result in some level of otherwise unneeded destruction. From an embracing transcendent perspective, Antares is the administrative seat directing the education of the incarnate souls regarding application of raw creative power. Antares oversees and stimulates the use of raw creative forces and use of power so that we can learn what is required for our true incarnational freedom and to become responsible creators of it. Antares is not a negative force or evil star, nor does it harbor any negative extraterrestrial faction, as in sometimes erroneously believed. Wow. I hope you're enjoying this. Um, you don't find this on your weekly programming on. This is knowledge, baby. Antares equals anti-Ares, Ares, son of Zeus and Hera, the Greek god of war. Now that's what I'm talking about, a god. You know, when you compare something like that to the depiction of this, so-called god, old dude on the throne, I don't get where that's from. What a magnificent specimen of a human being. That's all I got to say. Hand points north direction to the Cancer constellation. Sky above at Sunday, 2015, June 11th, 2027. And as you can see, this is a knowledgeable individual. According to Chaldean and the Platonist philosophy, Cancer was the gate of men, mortals, through which souls descended from heaven into human bodies or into creation. Its opposite sign, Capricornus, represents the gates of the gods, where souls of the departed ascended back into heaven. So Copernicus equals gates of God, Cancer, the gates of men, mortals. Set, Horus. You just have to take time to study these. I mean, I love it. Okay. The constellation of Cancer. In the Egyptian records about 2000 BC, the constellation of Cancer was described as a scarabæus, sacred, as its specific name, Sasser, signifies. Oh, it's a dung beetle. Okay. It is an emblem of immortality. This was the Greek karabos, which, with its nest ball of earth in its claws, an idea which occurs again even as late as the 12th century, when an illuminated astronomical manuscript shows a water beetle Um, the kathar, a verb that expresses the concept of taking a place within the cyclical nature of the world of existence. In Babylonian astrology, Cancer was seen as unfortunate because it marked the entrance to the underworld. Cancer is attuned to the source of life, which is both creative and destructive. And here's the point. I mean, we were talking yesterday about Babylon. Most people don't realize that the current monetary system, the financial system we have, originated in Babylon. Nothing ever changes, I'm telling you. Um, so, well, that's cool. So this is Capricornius constellation. Trying to figure out how they figured the constellations out of the time. So this is the sea goat. Hmm. Okay. Um, the Amalthea, the goat who looked after Zeus when he was a child, the natural progression um, of death and rebirth represented in the myths. Revelation Part 2. Be fully aware of the amnesia that was about to await you here on earth. You incarnated into this human body only to remind yourself who you were and save your asleep brothers and sisters. Once you have accomplished this feat, I will return with the sword, and together we will bring the earth back to the golden age. Well, there you go, folks. That is just far out. I've heard similar things, right? So 20.56, further meanings. It's science, numerology, mythology, astrology, different esoteric and magic traditions in the tarot. Um, the number 2056, Ivrios, Strong's Concordance, got one right over there myself. The Englishman Concordance, so a lot of research here. The word studies showing that it is a masculine noun, goat. Hmm. Well, I see we're not going to get near to this because we're only about, at the best, about a third. Saturn, the Meldui, night sun, steady justice. So, Inanna, sin, and the Shamash. Okay. I've seen this before. This is Saturnus. Off to collect souls, as I understand. Yep. He's got the whole world in his hand. Saturn is a ruler of the year, embraces the zodiac and the earth. 1499. See, they didn't have television or radio or anything else. I mean, so extreme concentration and dedication to this. I don't know how many people could do it today. The archangel Cassiel, the speed of God. God is my anger. The I think that is Cobra of God. Oh, the cover of God. Excuse me. The archangel of time, death, and karma, the ruler of Saturn. Cassiel is known for simply watching the events of the cosmos unfold with little interference. He is the angel of solitude and tears and is said to preside over the death of kings. Wow. You can see that this message is deep. 20.6, 2017, 2020. Saturn in Capricorn transit. The first message received December 21st, 2020. Jupiter, the fifth planet. Saturn is the sixth planet. The Great Conjunction. 56. Oh, Alistair says, I am Nuit, and my word is 6 and 50. Divide, add, multiply, and understand. The Book of the Law, 1, 24, and 25. Nut is Egyptian religion, a goddess of the sky, vault of heavens, often depicted as a woman arched over the earth god Gib. We've seen this. The ancient Egyptians Cosmo depicting Gib, the earth, and Shu, the air, and Nuit, the heavenly vault. According to Claude of St. Martin, the number 56 represents the perverse being to grip with the principles of the nature and surrendered to his own justice, the spirit of the universe ascending to its source. The law of the number 56, terrifying law, dreadful for those which are exposed to it. The number 6 represents man, Gaia, the body of the entire physical universe. The number 50 represents Benaya Shefra, the physical earth, Mother Earth, the Nuit in both the physical earth as well as the physical universe. The number 56 represents Egyptian goddess Nu, from which we acquired the full name Nuit. The number for terror or dread, ultimate power as creator and Lord over all things. 50 plus 6 equals 56 equals 5 plus 6, which equals 11. 11 represents the magnum opus, or the great work, the Golden Dawn. The Benai Sifra is understanding, and there it is. Okay. Source consciousness must cleave itself into two to exist and to experience. From the two comes many. All permeations of the one, all permeations of the Keter. The Sephra of Benai is form of the most primordial. The onic polarity that comprises the duality of awareness for all that exists. The yin that unites the corporeal embrace with the yang of this chakma to, I think I got that right. I think it's Hakma, to create the cradle of causality. Corresponding to the hermetic planetary sphere of Saturn, Benai is the great mother from which all duality emanates and to which all causality collapse back into the stillness of eternity. Okay. This is good stuff. I'll pick up on more on this. But as you can see, it's very difficult when you get into the drawings here to really, we're going to get Nathan on, though he did tell me he would be speaking through Metrodon. So that's going to be a conversation well worth you taking a look at. All right, we'll get into the next part when we revisit this again. I hope you're enjoying this. I think it shows to me this group. Again, it's not real popular. That's fine. But there is an intimacy that begins to happen when like-minded individuals studying materials such as this, it bonds us even further. It does. So, Nina says, I'm a monkey. Nina, quit monkeying around. How you doing, darling? She has a show on Sunday. Y'all need to watch that Sunday show, I believe, right? So I love this work. I mean, I hope it gives you also a much more feeling and knowing of who Frater is, Nathan, excuse me, and understand that this is someone that is, well, very special. That's all I'll say. Very special. And I am, again, I appreciate it. For myself, and a personal testimony, learning about the 72 angels, and we started this a number of years ago, we really were like children playing with something that we really didn't fully understand. But there is a certain leeway. Our hearts were in the right place, the intent was the right place, and we spent an inordinate amount of time studying it. We still study him. And I can say, thanks to Nathan and what he has sent to me, um, has opened up doors that I could not have imagined. I am forever changed. And again, as he said, they can't take that away. And I know within me, I am collecting that which will eventually unlock my memory. I think I'm close. And I believe that this part of the journey aids in that. That's just me. Um, and again, this is because of this remarkable um, spirit. I would say soul, but this individual, I would say, is, I'll just say this, it's close to where I would see as an ascended master. Knowledge and understanding that would absolutely go over the vast majority of people's head. They would find it to be nonsense. And it would be. It'd be like a clanging cymbal, as Paul says. He does write that. He says, there are those who their understanding is not at that level. It would do them no good. Even if they could see in the future, it would do them no good. Yeah. What did the Morpheus say in the original Matrix? We never awake a mind past a certain age because they can't handle it. It would completely collapse. And that's something none of us want to ever do. If there are individuals who can't handle it, back off. Proverbs says even a wise man, even a fool seems wise who can keep his mouth shut. Um, and you don't share this kind of stuff. People look at you and I mean, you won't be on the Christmas list anymore. It's like, I ain't talking to them anymore. So anyway, but yeah. And again, go over and let Nathan know, write him a note that you can do it right over there on his storefront. And again, I think $1.60, you can read this for yourself. You can study these drawings because it does require a much closer eye. But I believe that there was enough gnosis shared that many of us are saying, oh, there is a message here. And I'll probably pick this up on Monday because there is a message here that needs to get out to the world. Yeah, so we can help that. Mouth shut pause. It cracks my ass up. I like that. It took me about a year to come to grips with my belief. We're all Brian, you know what, brother? Right there with you, man. You can ask my wife. And I've said this before. When I realized that the name of Jesus was just made up and that the church fathers knew it, I mean, my freaking world is like collapsed because that's where I was indoctrinated. There was no other name given that is above all names, and that at the name of Jesus, every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess. I believe that. I mean, I think I could freaking walk on water believing that. And then you find out, wait a minute. It's a fact. You don't change the name of an historical figure or a particular royal figure. They didn't change many of the, how about in the Old Testament, Habakkuk or the other name? They never changed those names, but they changed this guy's name. And of course, we know the rest. So Anyway, yeah, this is true, Joyce. There's a lot. All of us are brave in this. Then it says the Nazarene. Yeah, like I said, think the dude. In my youth, we would get really stoned at concerts. There was a place in Houston that was actually next to Pasadena. It was called People's Park, and the Children of God were always there. I love the children of God. You could get so stoned and really have the munchies. And, they had the bus there. And I mean, they always had sandwiches. They had Kool-Aid too. I ain't lying. But, it was like, yeah, you know, I could rap with them. I know, talk. It didn't bother me, you know. Yeah. So anyway, um, we shall continue on. That's all I got to say. I got to tell you, I love my life. The experiences have just been freaking classic. Isn't that the truth, Gilbert? A lot of others that you're of the same age band within. But anyway, I thank all of you. Hey, Flight Risk. Yeah, have a happy Friday, everyone. DC, good to see you. So we'll pick up on this. Hit the like button. Let Nathan know. Send him a message. Tell him thank you. He'll appreciate it. Listen, again, as I started this show out today, a simple acknowledgement is such an honor. It shows respect and it shows an appreciation just to simply say thank you. I appreciate you being for who you are, as I do everyone else here. What did Mark say? Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Lauren. Right back at you, girl. Well, Claudia and everyone else, see you again on Monday. Party on, and we shall continue. All right.